city sleeps and the lights go low. Questions arise on how rules flow. Sean's here to guide in the quiet night air, bringing truth and justice with a steady stare. After dark we roll, the questions ignite. Let's talk about the road in the calm moonlight. It's more than cars, it's how we steer.
Oh, yeah. What's going on, everybody? Sean Shapiro here, that former cop who's, I guess I only have my credentials on TikTok now. I am here to answer your traffic and police questions, and we're just getting some technology working right here. Because I was late to the party. I knew I was going to be late. I planned to be late. It's okay that I'm late. Not that I'm late for 10 o'clock. That was just me smacking some buttons here. But the fact that I rescheduled to make sure I was available and on time and didn't have to do anything wild and crazy to get here. That's what I'm talking about. I hope you're having a good night. And I want to know why the heck this is not working. We're not on Instagram for some reason. That's the smacking some buttons business. Let me try this again. It says that it's working. However, I don't believe it because I don't see it. Let's see if we can save it again. Oh, maybe I didn't hit save. Maybe that's the problem. We'll see in a sec. And if Instagram doesn't work, so be it. It doesn't always have to work. Oh man, here's the deal. I am here to answer traffic and police questions. That's my thing. Highway Safety Gang. Hello, Melody. Hello, Bella Rose. Hello, Mona. How's it going? I don't know. I don't recognize Mona from the picture. But yeah, I'm here to chill out, to answer some questions, and of course, we'll put some theme music on. We'll relax. We'll drink some coffee because that is what I'm doing. I am chilling out to hang out with you and see where this goes. What? Apparently, Suno, the magical Suno platform, they are. What are they doing? They are they've expanded features so you can do more stuff and things with it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the music. That's what I'm talking about. It's the music that I play, which I'm about to press play on now. Here, I'll start at the beginning. So this song is a song I created in Suno. They're a platform that not only are they magical and have a free version, but I actually pay for it because I really enjoy what it allows me to do. And maybe we'll create a song just for you tonight, like the Highway Safety Gang. Actually, no, let's do that right now. Highway Safety Gang, if you're still watching and I see that you're there, give me some stuff. What are we going to make a song about? Tell me, give me some words, some styles of music. Stuff and things you want to talk about, you want to get the word out on. We're going to make a custom song. Oh, yeah, we're starting out with songs. Ethan says, I'm tired, and says, howdy you do? I'm tired, too. I just came back from running an exam. That's why I was late. I didn't think I'd get back on time, and I didn't leave the place till 10 to 9. So I just got home at 9:30 and jumped on, and here I am. Okay, this Instagram business ain't working. It ain't working. Let's try this again. Let's try to recreate the live video. And if it doesn't work, we're moving on. Not getting stuck on this. Yeah. After dark. Audience is public. Okay. I have not one, but 2 magical coffees here. Very exciting. Edit this one. New stream key provided. Saving. I'm saving. It's so important to save. Save your work. It says it's streaming. Gave it the new key. It's a no responsive. It might be working. For everybody else, I can't see nothing. I can't see nothing. Are you old enough to know who I was thinking of when I said I say, because I know exactly who I was thinking of. Actually, no, I don't. I don't know his character's name. Let me know if you know. There we go. Open this and make sure we're. There we go. Yeah, still no Instagram. Maybe they're having some down issues. They're certainly not up issues. But I see that we're live on TikTok, which is great. We're live on YouTube because Suhab. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Let's see here. Here's the question. We'll start with your question on screen just because you're the first person on YouTube to jump in, so that's important. Let's see here. The question is, do I need to be insured under the insurance to drive my dad's car? If you have a G1 and you're being supervised, generally no. Always notify your insurance. It's better to do that than to find out the wrong way or the hard way that you did not have coverage. And I've never met or heard of an insurance company that requires G1 drivers to have insurance, but I'm assuming you have a G2 or better. And if you live with your parents, then it is generally considered a requirement by almost every insurance company that I've ever heard of to have any driver who resides in the home be insured. Now, if you have that could be as an occasional driver, however, that's still insurance. If you are not living with them and you just borrow the car now and again, that's not going to generally require you to have an insurance policy or be named in the policy. You could be named and excluded by saying, Mr. Serb's son is not allowed to drive the car. And that could be, but here's the deal. From a police perspective, if you're a licensed driver qualified for that type of vehicle and you have permission of the owner to drive it and the vehicle is insured, then you're legal. In terms of what happens when there's a collision, that's where it gets muddy. That's where you're going to have problems. They could choose to deny your claim if you've been seen to have been violating a policy that they've set forth. Because it's their game. It's their private company. They can do what they want. And they say, Serb Jr. says he wants to drive the car. And we say, nay, we do not like him. They don't have to like you. Vinny says, do you find bike lane barriers dangerous? Bike lane barriers? Well, there's no barriers on bike lanes. There's barriers on cycle tracks. And they're there to delineate and differentiate themselves from other types of bicycle lanes. So yeah, they're different. Are they dangerous? I don't know. I don't think so. Why do you think they're dangerous? I'd love to know. Do you mean like people can't aim well and they keep smacking into them and falling over? That could be a problem. And if that were to happen, I would say in those environments and in those situations, they were dangerous for the people who hit them. But the idea is there to separate motor vehicle traffic from bicycle traffic, and it's intended to be safer. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, and I see Serb said the same thing, asked the same question on the other side. I'm guessing that you're on both platforms, but you have a very sneaky username or lack thereof on TikTok. Hey, if you're watching on TikTok, please tap the screen, bring likes to the party, let other people know that we're here live streaming. It does help to bring more party people to the place that we're at. Yes. And oddly enough, the more people who are in the party ask and bring different types of questions, which make it more interesting. Maybe they'll ask something you've never even thought about before. So that's awesome. Jeff Backwell, Joe to the future. T Money and Amelia, welcome. Melody, how are you doing? It's almost like I made this show later just for you to get back from baseball. I am rocking my Hotel Rock Lidditz. This is one of my favorite mugs. I'm rocking the Rock mug tonight. This is from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I went to see Five Finger Death Punch here and got to meet them. It was pretty freaking awesome, actually. They're major supporters of law enforcement, and a shout out to them if they're watching. They're probably not watching, but shout out to them, Zoltan. You guys rock, and you're a rock band, so that makes a lot of sense. Just saying. Good coffee. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Elmer Fowd. What is Ethan saying? Elmer. And then people. Let's see. Okay. Username who's using an alphabet that I can't read. Why do people get mad when I don't run the orange light? It's almost like the question that people asked last show and said, why do people get mad when I stop for a stop sign? It's framed in that way. Could have even been you who asked the question. But the deal is that they get mad because they want to go through the yellow light, and they probably don't even understand that yellow doesn't mean go faster. Anyone ever watch Starman? Watch Starman, great movie. The deal is that yellow means stop unless it's unsafe to do so. Now, if you have a wanker behind you who is honking at you and trying to run the light, that could be a justification to go through it because they're making it unsafe. And you have to gauge the distance and whether or not you think they're going to be part of your back bumper or you're going to make it safely through, which is the lesser of two evils, and that's what you go with. But honking because they want to be somewhere and you want to be safe, that's a them problem. And honking is just their outward expression of their own issues. It's their problem. All right. I like Ethan who says, dude, who cares if they get mad? And I'm with you, Ethan. Okay. Johnny85321 says, Sean, what happens if I get hit? What is this? What happens if I get got driving, but I'm illegal in Canada? Johnny, this is a fantastic question. I love this question. I'm so happy you asked this question. So let's go back. You're driving a motor vehicle, and we're assuming you're not licensed by your illegal in Canada. And I'm guessing that not only are you illegal in Canada by being not licensed, but you're illegally in the country. You have not gone through immigration properly, or you're an overstay on your visa and you are deportable. Well, what would happen if I pulled you over in this situation? Of course, we're not talking about you because I'm not a police officer anymore, but I'll tell you what happened every time I pulled someone over who was listed as an overstay, whether it be that they had a license or didn't have a license. If they were listed as an overstay, but they weren't legally in the country, I arrested them. I took them back to the police station. I called Canada Border Services and they rearrested them and deported them. That's what happens. Yeah. That's what would you, yeah. Don't be illegal in Canada. And if you are illegal in Canada, don't do dumb stuff behind the wheel because that is a surefire way to get sent back to where you came from. Now, I've had people who have taken vehicles into the country over like illegally, and the vehicles get seized, and like anything that could happen has happened. So I'm so glad you asked that question. I think it's fantastic. We're not going on Instagram. Instagram is broken. It's no work. It's broken. Yeah, I don't know why I'm sounding like that. Okay, let's see here. Boom, making the other window bigger because I can. Chase Avery says, how's your evening going, Sean? My evening is going great, Chase. Thanks for asking. Appreciate the question. As always, it's, I'm dealing with the fact that I just got the scores from my exam. Now, 70 was a pass. I did not pass. I got like 68. I was so close to passing. And my buddy, did my buddy pass? Hang on a second. I ignored the fact that I was so focused on, he passed and he got honors. Good for you, Rob. Congratulations. He got, the plug walk is walking funny because he has a plug stuck in his. Anyway, I guess I got to go and ban somebody from the account. Hang on a second, because occasionally we get these people, they find their way in. Boom. Thank you for your service of walking around with plugs in your whatever. Anyway, so I just weird that he's typed what he typed on the screen because he's the plug guy. Anyway, moving along. Chase. Oh, Chase, thanks for being on both platforms. Dad joke. I started jogging today. Why am I reading that? I'm going to save that for later. Okay. Boom. Cut and paste. Putting it over onto the YouTube side of this house. And we'll save it. We'll save it as the flag thing. Cool. Joel Weldon, Tink 67, Funray. We got syntax error. Great username. We got Noel and Fiend and Yo Mr. Clean and Barry, Farming on Top, Jude. We got Princess, or no, it's Judix Princess, John, Misty Bailey, Doug, Serge, Amy, Jonathan Davis, Bad Cat 43, Stanley Chesterfield. That's funny. It's just because there was a Chesterfield joke when I became a court officer. They would put they would put down names for us to call prisoners, and they were always the names you'd expect. And Chesterfield was one of them, but I don't remember what the first name was. Tosh and Fit Twin Daddy and Eric and Zach, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you in. Oh, and Barry, thanks for the gift. I saw you just throw a gift our way. I can't see them live when they come through. I'm reading a different window that doesn't have video, so I don't see the fabulous animations that maybe displayed on the TikTok screen. But I appreciate it. All right. But this is a great time to say, did you know that this is a not-for-profit organization that helps me put on the show? I retired from policing, but I do this, and I do this so that I can help educate people, answer the questions. So there's no one should go without knowing stuff. So with the help of Better Traffic Safety Education, or the Canadian Organization for Better Traffic Safety and Education, which is an organization I created at bettertraffic.ca, we do the show. And generous donations from people like yourself, Barry, who to throw diamonds this way, that goes to help keep the lights on. Additionally, I do have great sponsors like Diamond and Diamond Lawyers. They help me do what I do, and I appreciate them too. Okay, scrolling back here. Stefano wants to know if it's against the law to go around the roundabout 10 times. Not against the law. Might get you investigated for impaired operation because it's a little odd, but you could just be lost. It's not specifically against the law. If you're interfering with traffic, like if you and 10 of your friends do it to prevent others from getting in, then now you're getting into criminal mischief or general stupidity, but definitely an investigation happens then. Ethan says, I would not go through out of spite and safety. I like that spite is the priority and safety is the second best. We're talking about yellow lights. Ethan would not go through the yellow. Tink67, who is a proud Canadian with a flag in their username, says, why are taxis allowed to double park in front of Union Station at the Fairmont Hotel? I don't think, well, they're not supposed to double park. And there's a taxi stand there, and that's all they're supposed to be able to occupy. If they were truly double parking, if they were truly in violation, then parking enforcement would nail them. They wouldn't let them off. Parking enforcement will occasionally write tickets to police cars who do the wrong thing. So there's no special treatment for taxis. Excuse me as I coffee. I need to caffeinate. It is good coffee. I've got so much coffee because not only do I have my Hotel Rock Lidditz, I also have my magical CAA Yeti. Okay. Johnny 85-321. He wants to know about driving while illegal, but he also wants to know about getting a ticket for driving without a license. Of course, if you're illegal in the country and you're operating a motor vehicle, and you're unlicensed operating the motor vehicle, and maybe you have no permission to drive that motor vehicle, and maybe it's uninsured, every possible ticket that you'd be eligible for would be laid. Yes, because not only would you be deported, but you would have charges pending. I had someone who had to hire a lawyer because they were deported, and I charged them for everything under the sun because they had a vehicle that was in from New York City, New York. They had a car that was registered. I think this was 2014, and their car came into the country in 2012. They did not pay tax, but everything was expired. Everything. I was really disappointed in their insurance company. They had been in the country for years, but they were paying their $100 a month insurance. So the insurance company said, yeah, we'll insure them. Allstate, I think it was. So apparently Allstate's either really good or really dumb or really bad. One of them, because why would you allow an American to just live in Canada and be insured when they're not living where they disclose they are? It's fraud. They had lots of problems. Let's see here. Dave says, Sean, how's it going? Your live isn't showing up on Instagram. Yes, Dave, it's not showing up on Instagram, and I've tried to fix this a couple of times. I'm willing to try again just for you. Can I turn it off and turn it on? Let's see what happens. We're giving it one last kick at the can for Dave. But I appreciate you letting me know that it's not working. Oh, that's the wrong platform. Hang on. Closing the window. Thanks, Dave. I'm thinking about Space Odyssey now because of you, Dave. Stand by. TPS chips, come on. Someone created a TPS account. I follow them, so obviously I should know that, but I didn't know that they had TPS chips. Okay, AATC is going to be this. I'm not typing Ask a Traffic up again. No, well, maybe I typed public. I think I don't. Okay, we're trying it again, folks. Copy, pasting. Here we go. Let's see what happens. It says it's streaming, but it's not. We'll give it a couple minutes to see if it connects. It's the streaming tool. It's no bueno. It's no bueno. But who knows? Things could change. Thanks again, Dave, for letting me know. Okay. Syntax error says, does an overstate just show up when you run them, or do you need to look for it? Actually, I don't remember. I think it shows up as a flag as an overstay. I don't think it requires additional searches. But it is going back quite a long time since I've had one. Yeah, I don't know. I think it just came up as a red flag, and systems keep getting better. So important stuff like that is getting moved to the forefront of reports every single day. Okay, one more check here. Let's go view on Instagram. No, not working. Well, that is very suboptimal. Truly. Okay. I'm giving up on Instagram. Truly, officially, I gave it one last kick of the can for Dave because Dave's awesome. But we're moving forward. That's what we're doing. All right. We got what happens if you get caught driving with a suspended license. Let's see here. I'm going to read you what the deal is. Why not? I got the stuff here. Suspended. Maybe it's our suspension. I can race. No, this is fuzzy searching. Oh, it's okay. Drive while under suspension. No set fine. Authority to seize and arrest. So every person who drives a motor vehicle or streetcar on a highway while his or her driver's license is suspended under an act of the legislature or a regulation made thereunder is guilty of an offense and on conviction is liable. First offense, to a fine of not less than $1,000 and not more than $5,000, and B, for each subsequent offense to a fine of not less than $2,000 and not more than $5,000, or to imprisonment for a term of not more than 6 months, or to both. So yeah, not the best way to go about things. Don't drive while under suspension. Uber, bus, all the regular stuff, but avoid driving because you're not licensed. And when you do stuff like that, I'd have to confirm with the magical lawyers at Diamond and Diamond, but I believe it would vitiate your coverage. Well, impaired driving does because it's criminal, and I know that Sandra has said that. But I'm going to now have to ask Sandra if driving while under suspension would be sufficient to vitiate coverage, which means you'd not be covered, which is a word I like to use now because vitiate. It's just a cool word. I've never had cause to use it until I learned it, like not that long ago. All right. Melody says, got the truck running that I put a new engine in, only being 3 months since I ordered the engine. Come on, 3 months you ordered an engine. It just showed up now. Ooh. Thank you, Barry, for the additional gifts that you sent this way. Okay. Johnny wants to know, so if that person gets deported, they won't get a traffic ticket for driving. Yeah, they would get a ticket. They'd still have a ticket. Now I don't know if they'd have to stay at the fancy hotel until they finish their stuff, but they would be charged, and they would be suspended here if they never showed up for court. It's not an instant. Deportation isn't overnight. They put you in a holding facility for a period of time, and they ended up getting someone to act on their behalf for the court that I dealt with. You versus me equals, I don't see the rest of your name. What do officers see when they search you up on the computer? That is the question. And the answer is they see all the tombstone information on the registered vehicle. That's what they mean. They're searching your license plate, and then they can look at the registered owner. So if you are the driver and the registered owner at the same time, they'd be able to look you up without even touching anything else, and they'd be able to see if there's any wants or warrants and things like that. If you are not the registered owner, it would be a manual search afterwards. Like if you're not the person on title, but they can then search you, and that's why every single time a vehicle stop occurs, it's a whole investigation. It's not just click click, set print go. Like it's work. It's work. It takes time. Can you drive an electric scooter e-bike down bike trails? That's Sarah Bird who wants to know. And Sarah, it depends on the e-bike, and it depends on the individual bylaws governing the trails. So if you have an electric scooter e-bike and you're in the city of Toronto and you're in parks, if it is a throttle based e-bike, you twist your wrist or hit your thumb button to go zoom zoom, it's illegal in the parks. If you pedal in the parks, if it's a pedelec that requires your direct input on the pedals to make it move, that would be legal. But there is a 20-kilometer-an-hour maximum speed on trails and parks in the city of Toronto, so you need to know that because you could still get a ticket. All right. What is Tink Ethan? I'm seeing Tink and Ethan talking. What is Tink and Ethan talking about? They're not quick. Yes, I don't. They're not quick. They're hanging out. Okay. John says or asks, is it true you can't drive home with a beer or liquor you bought in the back seat? It has to be the trunk. No, it depends. You say drive home from the store sealed from the factory. If you have a case of beer, if you have a 4-pack, even a single beer, it could be inside the cabin of the vehicle. It should be enclosed in a bag that is far and out of reach of the driver's reach, and it would be legal. Listen, it's the same thing for weed. If you buy weed from a legal vendor and it's sealed from factory and it's in your pocket on your person, it's legal. If it's broken seal, it has to be in the trunk. Same as alcohol. If you have half a bottle of wine at your friend's house, hopefully not you and then driving, but let's say you sipped on beer or on the bottle, everyone had a little sip. You are legal at this point for driving because you're not impaired or over the limit, but you have an unsealed bottle of wine. Well, that couldn't be in the cabin of the vehicle without being secured appropriately. It should be, and it would be best in the trunk. But like I've got to the liquor store, you take the bottle, brand new factory sealed, right there on the passenger seat. I'm not drinking it, and I don't even have a corkscrew with me, so I can't. I couldn't if I wanted to. That's a big deal, because open alcohol and alcohol readily available to the driver is a problem. It is a problem. It is a ticket. Oh, Barry says, "Oh, I can only imagine after, but it's cut off after the two ends in the E. So I can't. Can I click on it? I can't even click on it. No. Oh, I see. I see the username. It is definitely a good username that I'm not going to repeat. Okay. Why is Noel Pereira 491 asking and spamming? I answered this question. I'm assuming that they just didn't pay attention to that, or maybe they didn't wait long enough to find out that it takes a while for me to get through all the questions. Okay. I'm okay. Tink and Ethan are having a conversation. I've missed something, obviously. Ox said, had to unfollow you. Okay. They unfollowed me for some reason. I don't know why. They said, if my, I have no idea what they're talking about. Okay. If they have to unfollow me, but then message me to make a comment as to trying to get attention as to why I just have no time. I don't know. But bye-bye. Dave cannot be accessible to the okay. Back to Noel. Oh, Barry is just starting his application for the RCMP. Any advice for Depot? Pay attention, stay in shape, don't get into trouble. I don't know. I've never had any exposure to Depot. Different system altogether. RCMP versus Toronto. Liz, how are you doing? Good to see you. And Stephen Bell, good to see you too. Liz wants to know if TPS has some sort of alphabet that is nomenclature. They use a standard alphabet. Oh, this might the gas shock in my chair. It went down. Oh, I got taller again. I don't know if I forgot to raise this, but I was really low for some reason. Now I am not. Now I have to raise the microphone. Boy, that's just, I don't know why I was so low. Anyway, maybe somebody else was in my chair when I wasn't looking. Okay, here we go. Alphabet. So we use a standard alphabet. So, well, first of all, we usually just read and speak English. But when it's on the radio and you want to make sure that it's like you're calling out a license plate, so the Alpha, Bravo, Delta, Charlie, uh, uh, that's it. Except I did Delta before Charlie, and I don't know why. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo. Yeah, it's a standard. You can look it up. There's a standard one. In the States, some places change things a little bit. We use a standard one. I think it's the NATO version. Oh, this is the follow-up. Does TSP have an alphabet? Let's say postal code, for example. My dad would have said something like Mary 6 Charlie Bravo 7. We would use Mike, not Mary. Mary is a very LAPD thing. Yeah. So it would be Mike 6 Charlie 3 Bravo 7, not Mary. But yeah, absolutely. And when you're doing that, and like the number 9 is Niner, just to be to enunciate. Stephen Bell says, "Hi Sean, how you doing? I don't like to brag, but I have never broken any laws. Never ever. You may have broken laws, not even knowing it. That's why they say that knowledge or lack thereof is no, or ignorance is no excuse. Is that what the heck is the statement? I forgot what the actual statement is, and I don't want to Google it, but it's something to that. Motor Squad. Where's Motor Squad? Oh. Apparently, there's some major events. Toronto police operations 30 minutes ago. There's a shooting in Toronto. Hopefully, officers and innocent people are okay. But it looks like Toronto police operations has stated that there was 5 people transported to the hospital with gunshot wounds. An update that was put out afterwards said that 1 male confirmed deceased, 5 with non-life-threatening injuries transported to the hospital. That's Rainey and Allen Road. That's not far from Yorkdale Mall. Sorry, shopping center. They don't like being called mall. Oh, it's tragedy. Yeah, it drives me crazy to hear that these sort of things are happening in my city. No fun. Okay. Let's get back to questions. All the happiness. It just drives me crazy, this gun issue. You know what the worst thing about the gun issue is? They're not legal guns. The federal government in Canada goes after all the legal gun owners, not people out there shooting people up. Bad guys and girls and people and things are shooting people up with illegal guns that are smuggled in from the United States primarily. All right. Melody, thank you very much. Yes, take a breath. We'll get to you. Yeah, that's because that's how this works. Fit Twin Daddy says, I got off my DUI and was wasted. Do you think it's corrupt, like for rich people to get off? So it's like $30,000 to $40,000 for the average offense. If you paid $30,000 to $40,000 and you got out of that, if you didn't hurt anybody, at least you got a $40,000 hit. If you're being legit, I think it's gross. I think that impaired operation offenses shouldn't be pled down, shouldn't be thrown away, and shouldn't get off on a technicality of baloney. No, I think people need to do hard time, maybe make big rocks into little rocks. Getting behind the wheel of a motor vehicle when you are wasted, by your own admission, is disgusting. So yeah, I don't know if you're kidding or if you're just jerking my chain, but at the end of the day, I openly discuss my disapproval for the number one charge that is negotiated and litigated. It's impaired driving. People don't even take it seriously. It's just a couple of drinks. Well, and then they kill somebody. And we've got it in the media all over the place all the time. VTFU, lots of numbers, says, what are the things you hated as a cop but couldn't say as a cop? Oh, I still won't say them. I'm just far too polite. Um, I have no patience for the kind of baloney that likely you have no patience for. I'm a human being just like the rest of you, and I can smell bullshit, and as can you. And we actually say it too. There's nothing you can't say; it just prevents you from being promoted. Maverick had a laugh, but I don't know what he was laughing at. Uh, Noel Pereira says Melody got to work tomorrow. Okay. I think Noel was the one who, yeah, hopefully you're not the suspended driver that wants to know what happens. Don't do it because it's not a good idea. You get arrested. Let's see here. Pack says, are you allowed to have a plate border that is not covering the letters on the plate? You're talking about a plate frame, license plate frame. They're not technically illegal. If you cover any portion of the plate, you can be charged. And I don't know why people want these things. They don't look that good. I will say that I saw some chrome ones and the chain ones. 25 years ago, I thought they were cool. I don't think they're cool anymore. I've seen some bedazzled ones. They're pretty interesting. No. You can't. Technically, you can't have it. Will you get a ticket for it? Probably not. The average plate cover isn't bothering anybody as long as it's not fading or interfering with the reading of the plate at all. You should be okay. And you can't cover not just the numbers. It has to be Ontario. You have to be able to clearly identify that plate as an Ontario plate. Vic Rod wants to know if it's only Ontario that you can cross double lines, yellow or white. Yes, we're the only province left in the country that prevents or only it doesn't have a charge is the word I was searching for. There is no charge for crossing the line. However, if you cause a collision by crossing the line, it's still careless driving. It's still going to be an unsafe move. The Fairmont is full of mold. Are we talking about the hotel? Interesting. Oh, because you were talking about is that because of the parking? I guess it is in relation to that. Interesting hotel. I've been to a number of events there. B8S4. I think it's a Bumblebee 8-ball S. I don't know what your icons mean. Okay, can I lane split on a bike if my bike is overheating? No, there's no excuse for lane splitting. Overheating is pull over and shut it down. That's what you do if your vehicle is malfunctioning, or buy a liquid cooled bike. As every Harley owner just went, he said liquid cooled. Oh my God. Yeah, it's liquid cooled bike. Or Harleys have one liquid cooled bike or two. But that's one of the reasons why the Toronto Police transitioned to BMWs or is transitioning to Beamers because of the whole liquid cool business. Can limos use the taxi spots? I think a properly licensed limo might be able to. I've never enforced that. I don't care about taxi parking stuff. But I'll have to ask Aaron. We were chatting earlier today. I have to find out. I'll ask. Okay. Murphy says, nice beard. Always great to hear your show. Thanks, Murphy. Appreciate you dropping in. And the beard, thanks you too. Steve wants to know what my experience working on full moon nights is. Well, it's funny. I don't know if it's self-fulfilling prophecy, but there seems to be a correlation between full moons and batshit crazy. That's the thing. But then again, batshit crazy seems to happen all the time. We just assign it more relevance because of the of the moon. I don't know. I think it's self-fulfilling. I think we see what we want to see. I think there's all sorts of craziness happening all the time. But there seems to be something. And again, we might convince ourselves of it. We seem to think that these things happen more. I don't know. I got out of working nights a long time ago after my collision, so I don't have any relevant and recent data. I do miss nights. I like nights. I'm one of the few people who actually really liked nights. Oh, Tink 67 drives a super stretch limo. Interesting. Very interesting. Buddy of mine sent me a limo and he said, Sean, you gotta buy this. And then I started thinking of YouTube shows we could do in a stretch limo and nothing dirty. I was talking about like quiz questions about traffic or stuff. I don't know. trying to justify buying a used $5,000 limo from the 80s. Yeah. Or driving Uber. I don't know which Uber stretch car. Okay. Bumblebee says, I have a ticket that was issued over a year and a half ago, and no court date has been set with or what happened. It looks like they done screwed up. What you have there is clearly grounds for an 11B application. You've had a year and a half and they haven't given you a date. They've got to dismiss that. Like there's no way. So I would follow up with the court and I would look up the defendant's guide to POA court and start drafting your documents for an 11B application, which would suggest that the entire process should be thrown out if we're talking about simple traffic, minor traffic, technically. Yeah, then that's what you should be doing. Consult a paralegal or somebody who can help you with that. I don't do that stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Bunch of stuff just rolled up and said, "Oh, by the way, just in case you didn't already know, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And if you are watching but don't follow, please follow. And even if you're not following on YouTube, please go over to YouTube, go to VoiceOver Copy channel, and follow me there. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers so we can try and monetize and do other stuff." Melody says there's a delayed quiet echo. Let's see why that and how to fix that. Delayed quiet echo. I don't know if that's still here. Let's see if we got. I got to investigate. Gonna try. I don't hear it here. But I'm glad you brought it to me. Anybody else noticing an echo? Let me know. I will try and figure it out. Scrolling back. Dot wants to know if I support bike lanes. Depends. I think that bicycle lanes, if they're being utilized properly, could make it safer for vulnerable road users. The goal is to make it safer for everybody. I don't like the idea of taking narrow roads and then taking up a lane and then making traffic back up for days. We have the worst traffic in the country, if not the world, as far as I'm concerned, because I won't drive in Toronto anymore unless I'm being paid. It's gross. So if bike lanes that are occasionally used are destroying Toronto, I don't like it. I don't mind having, I could put dedicated roads for bicycles. But when you're, for the last 100 years or so, they've worked on the side of the road. I rode bicycle in Toronto, but without bike lanes, and I'm still here to talk about it. Nia, hello, how are you? King Alfalfa says, is removing your headrests illegal? I'm not aware of a law that prevents or that punishes you for removing them. However, death is bad. And if you were to be involved in a collision without a headrest, you would hyperextend your neck and you would likely not survive. So I would suggest keeping your headrests that are kind of integral to the safety of you. Yeah. Why are there bike lane wars? I don't know. Can you skip lanes when turning? Can you skip lanes when turning? What do you mean? Like Neha, you want to know if you can turn from the wrong lane? That would be an unsafe vehicle turn or unsafe turn. That would be a ticket. Liz says 5 shot in the area of Allen Road in Flemington. Really sad. I was at Costco at Billy Bishop Way when I heard the news about that shooting. I was quite close. You were very, very close. Rainy Avenue, according to the Toronto Police website. You can get updates by going to Toronto Police and Corporate Communications, I believe is the account. But let's see here. What is the account? I'll tell you what, it's Police Operations, Toronto Police Operations, TPS Operations. But what is the account? Let's look it up. Yeah, it's TPS Operations. You should. There's reasons to be on X, and that's one of them, to get all the updates of what's going on in the city, assuming you're in the city and it's important to you. Okay. Cooksville 416 followed. Thanks very much. Jim Leahy, how you doing? Anyway, good night. That's Neha says, my eyes are closing spontaneously. Bye bye. Yes, I know I'm tired when my eyes are closing and I'm not trying to close them. Noah Hedrick says, if I'm on parole to have an interlock in my car and I don't, but I still drive, what would happen? Well, I can tell you what I've done because I've done it. Well, the arresting part, you see, you get charged under the act for drive vehicle no interlock, and then your car is impounded. Even if it's a rental, even if it's your buddy's, your vehicle gets impounded, and then you have what? Well, let's see here. Let's see what the consequences are because I don't recall what the fine is. Boom, interlock. No, not interlock. Interlock. What do you know? There is a charge for this. Why is it not showing up in my fuzzy search? It's bugging me. Lock? No, it should be interlock. Enter. No, it's not coming up. Hang on a second. I will find it. Because someone said, what, Google not working? Yeah, Google works. Interlock HTA. Ignition interlock. Maybe if I search ignition. It's Reg 25102. 251. No, it's not coming up. Oh, maybe it's a separate ignition. Failed to comply with no. Oh, this is really annoying. Where is it? 25102. Criteria for removal, inspection, maintenance requirements, approved devices. That's not helpful at all. One last check. Unless it's being moved. Drive without required ignition interlock. Section. What's the section? 41.2? Is that right? Well, how the hell did I find it when I laid it? Mind you, it was a long time ago. Install? No, I have any problem. Maybe I have to update the library here. Yeah, I can't explain this. I will do me a favor, DM me. I'll look it up for you. I'm not finding it now, and I don't want to invest more time into this at the moment because I imagine nobody else cares except you and I. Seth, what's going on? He says, Mr. Shapiro, how are you? I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Ginger Ninja says, is Google not working? Who are you asking? Me? Them? Oh. Who's the best upfitter to buy a cruiser from? Upfitter? We don't buy them from upfitters. We do all the work in Toronto ourselves. We have an amazing group of folks who build the cars in-house. Everything's done in-house by Toronto Police. We have garages with major talent. But where are you at, Ginger Ninja? Okay. Jelly is driving around with my seatbelt on, so driving around. This is the question. Jelly, hang on a second. I'll put it on the screen because this is worthy of putting it on the screen. And I've been leaving that question on for far too long. Okay. Thanks, Liz. Jelly says, is driving around with my seatbelt on but under my left arm, is that a ticket? It's improper. Wearing your seatbelt on improperly. I think it's still $240. It's also a guaranteed way to get, well, I shouldn't say guaranteed. It increases the odds of you not surviving a collision tremendously. Because when you're involved in a collision and that seatbelt locks and you go forward, you drive your ribs into your lungs and heart. And potentially bad things could happen. So I would suggest against that. Bad things. Okay, let's see here. Fail to properly wear seatbelt, $240. Yeah. Does it actually go into detail with? No, it just says as required by subsection 5. This interlock thing's really pissing me off. How the hell? Is it? Maybe it's a. I'm gonna look here. I don't know. It's pissing me off. More time left to, or more investigation required later. Cargo 1010 says, got my uniform fitting on Friday. Awesome. Congratulations. Toronto or somewhere else? Let me know. Weston wants to know what I think of the elephant ear crosswalks and widened sidewalks that cities are developing. The whole goal is to change the angle on which you're going to make those right turns, and well, I guess left turns, down, primarily right turns, and to give the pedestrians a better chance of surviving, because too many drivers are, well, those pedestrians is not good. And infrastructure and design changes really do change the way drivers interact with the environment, and that could save lives. So I'm all for anything that protects vulnerable road users. So cool. I can't say that that elephant ear one really makes a lot of sense to me in terms of the name corresponding to something in my mind that I can visualize. But I've been seeing a lot of the intersections created so that you have to be far, far away. What pedestrians need to do is not occupy that space, because drivers still be driving over it. It's to change the angle of approach for the turn, but pedestrians need to still stay on the sidewalk. Okay. 12345 says, my license expired a few days ago. Not going to Service Ontario until Friday. What's the fine? You have no license. It's $350 for having no license, which is what you have when you have an expired license. So just go online and renew it. You don't have to go in unless you require some paying of fines or other things. Yeah, just don't drive without a license, because oddly enough, unlicensed drivers have no insurance. So if you get into a collision from now until then, you just cost yourself a ton of money. Not good. Yeah, don't do it. You might not get a ticket like by 1 or 2 days, even though you know when your birthday is, right? So there's no excuse. You might not get a ticket, but you have no insurance. It could go really south really quick. All right. Thai guy 89 Sanya with some American flags, and is that an Italian flag? Flag of Italy, or have I got my colors mixed up? Anyway, what's the question? Something about, you asked about Torino. I think the rest of your question got flagged. I don't know what you're asking about, because the first thing you said that I can see is, but we are not in Torino. And then they want to know about unsealed weapons. So whatever you said in the first part of your question got cut off. I don't know what you want. Feel free to DM and ask me there. All right. Candon 999. Isn't that guilty for something you didn't do? What? Sadly, if your statement is a statement that has no context, I don't know how to answer it. Okay. DD1 wants to know about obstructed windows. Tell me your opinion. Depends how we got to obstructed. Was it fuzzy dice? Did you put stickers in the way? If you are obscuring your windshield with anything like a GPS, a telephone, fuzzy dice, CD-ROMs, does anyone know what a CD-ROM is? If that's dangling and blocking your view, you're in violation. So my opinion is you should be using your windshield for looking through and not looking at other stuff. This is not the place to put stuff. So even like I have dash cams, I have two of them. I installed them in such a way that they're hidden behind my mirror. They don't obstruct my view at all. Conservative Canada says laser jammers and radar detectors are a must. No, they are not. They're the worst douchebag thing you can do to have in your car because it says that you're about speeding and making roads less safe, and that you want to get away with it because you're not man enough to take your lumps when you get caught for breaking the law. Conservative. I'm all good for conservative. Lawbreaker and people who don't give a crap about the law, that I have an issue with. And yeah, that's what laser jammers and radar detectors are for. It's for the cowards who want to break the law but don't want to get caught. But here's the thing, it's not that hard to catch you, because when you are jamming or projecting a speed other than what I've been measuring in the car that's pacing you beside you, I know you have an extra device. And if you have a radar detector and my alert goes off that you have a radar detector, if I'm even using radar as a speed measurement method, which would have been laser 9 times out of 10 in my career, well, I would pull you over and then I would investigate and then I would take your car apart because I can. And I can do that. I have search and seizure authority under the provincial act. At least I did when I was a cop. And then I would seize it. So most people just handed it over because they didn't want me going to town on their car because they like their car and they know that I'm not a mechanic or someone who's gentle. Moving along. Even an open bottle, as long as I don't drink, what's the danger? It's against the law. Doesn't matter what the danger is. You have opportunity, and we can't make a charge based on what you would do later when that opportunity presented itself. It's the fact that you can't have it, thus you can't have it. What do we have here? If it Maple Leafer says if it's strange, they just say whiskey tango foxtrot. Ignorance of the law matters when intent is a factor. Doesn't excuse the behavior. If you are clearly breaking the law, it doesn't matter. You don't need intent for all things. You need intent for some things, and that changes which law or which charge would be laid. Intent is important, but it does not absolve you of the act or the violation. Interesting, though. I appreciate what you're saying. Blackwater with a registered logo. Why left turn is automatically at fault even when it's not your fault? Left turn is at fault because you're crossing a live lane. And if a collision occurs, you are at least partially at fault. Now, there's insurance determinations, and then there are police determinations. They're different. Laws, when it comes to insurance or their determining factors as to fault, are published in the book. They all have to follow the same rules. Police look at different things. Did you cause it? Did you factor? Did your action result in something happening? Are you deserving of a charge? Conservative Canada says at least you admit that about illegal guns. Every copper knows that it's illegal guns that are being used in crime. No police officer is thinking that people should go after legal gun owners. That's government people who are not lawmakers, well, not good at it, they're not lawyers, and they're certainly not cops or people who understand the law or possibly understand anything. I'm not a big fan of the people who are, going after law-abiding citizens. So we probably have a lot more in common than you'd like to believe, but not when it comes to laser jammers. Greg Evans says, I know about the laws about dogs and cars, but, and then I don't say anything afterwards. Stranger says, is turning left on a red legal in Ontario? Stranger is asking strange questions. The only time that a left on a red is legal is when you're going from one way to one way. If you're on a one-way street going to another one-way street, then a left turn on red would be legal in the same way that a right turn on red would be legal in a normal intersection. It's very rare that you see that. But I imagine that's what you're looking for because you know the answer. Isn't it legal to drink and drive as long as your percentage of alcohol in your body, alcohol in your blood is below ACE? Oh, a certain level. So it's drinking and driving is prohibited because you can't have open alcohol in your vehicle. Having more than 0 blood alcohol content in your blood is legal up until a point. You're right. First of all, you have to be 22 years old with a full G license to qualify to have more than 0 BAC, and you can't be in a commercial motor vehicle. Then you can have from the range of 0 to 0.049 in your system, as long as you're not impaired, because you could have that number and be fine. But if you're all over the road, you're impaired, even if you are under the legal limit. So drinking and driving is not condoned, suggested, wanted, and not expressly legal. However, a 0.049 and below is legal to operate a motor vehicle in Ontario and most provinces across Canada. However, 0.05 to 0.079 is prohibited, and you would receive a 3-day warrant range suspension on their first occurrence within 10 years. If you are 0.08 and above, it's criminal range and you'd be arrested. Okay. Kenda on 999 says, by the way, fermented foods like yogurt contain alcohol. Oh, foods. Thank you for like, what's a foid? Some things do carry alcohol, mouth alcohol. That's why when you're pulled over and you're asked to, oh, Jeff, thank you, and Durham Regional Police for that. But the problem is that I can't find it in my system. Hang on. Stand by. I think they just changed the way that that this system. I use a Shield, and it's great, but that's what I'm using to find. And I'm not seeing 320, so maybe it's under reg. Maybe they got the OREG separately now. I'm convinced it used to show up, but is not showing up now. I want to write to them. Why it ain't working? Why? I think I probably found it in the internal system. But let's see. Let's put this up on the screen, or at least let me pull it up. Stand by. We're going back here. I said I wasn't going to do it, but now I'm doing it. So I was just looking for what the charge was. I know there's the take the car business. Let's go 323. Even that's not coming up. Like penalties and sentencing, the conveyance. No. Okay. 320.24. This is not finding it easily. Okay, it's for homework for later. I'll go look it up later. And when you're not all staring at me. Okay. Oh yeah. So back to Canada on. The deal is with those things, like, yeah, if they have alcohol in them and they could make a roadside screening device go up. We wait 15 minutes. Police wait 15 minutes to provide a breath to demand a breath sample or give you that delay from the last time you consumed something. So mouth alcohol is an issue. The fermented foods like yogurt and that have minute amounts, or even chewing gum. There's sugar alcohol in most blister pack gum. 15 minutes. Smoking a cigarette, 15 minutes. We wait for all sorts of things to prevent any kind of false readings. Okay. I like the correction. Thank you, Melody. Oh, were you both? Yeah, he was talking about left, so I got it. Ashley Posen wants to know if seniors still have to take a driving test. They do at a certain age. I don't know if it's 80 or whatnot. Actually, I know how to find out. We can go to drivetest.ca. We can go to when do seniors have to test? It starts off by having to just do a written test. Drivers over 80 must also complete an annual road test. Really? Why did I think so? Is it this? Like, my grandfather drove till he was 94. God love him. Then he had a collision. And then I had a talk with him. He said, maybe I'll give up my license. And he did. I will say that driving is such an important freedom tool. And when you lose that, it takes a little bit away from you. Okay. Yeah. What do we have here? So once you've reached the age of 80, you have to complete additional steps to renew your license. First, you'll receive a letter from the Ministry of Transportation. This letter will typically arrive about 3 months or 90 days before your license expires, and it'll explain stuff. Interesting. Well, I'll tell you, I hope. Oh, here, requirements: vision test, cognitive test, straightforward and simple, designed to detect any cognitive issues. GES, this 45-minute session is a group lesson that goes on basic rules of the roads and updates. A written test. Is that for everyone 80 and above? And there's no, at what age do seniors have to take a driving test? They get actual behind the wheel? It says at the age of 80, you have a senior citizen renewal process to secure your license. After this age, you'll need to renew your license every 2 years. Interesting. I thought there was another threshold. Like it was written stuff, and then eventually it was a driving test. But I've never been 80. I know some people who are, or will be soon. Have you ever caught a driver driving without insurance? Yeah, a lot. It's actually scary how many people drive without insurance on their motor vehicles. I've pulled people over who said, I got a quote. Look. And they handed this piece of paper over, and I'm like, yeah, it's a quote, not actually insurance. Other people call, they start an insurance policy, and then they cancel it after they receive their annual renewal slip. Pink slip, here's proof of insurance, right? They cancel it. They paid $100 and they cancel it. Then they get pulled over, and they assume that the person who's investigating will accept that form willy-nilly. And here's where they're right. Most people will. And then you'll get a traffic cop who gives a crap. And what they'll do is they'll make note of all that information. And here's the wonderful thing. 3 years. 3 years. That's how long a police officer has to lay the charge for drive no insurance. So what I used to do, and what many of my colleagues used to do, is we'd create a binder. Like we're scrapbookers. We'd have your license information, your vehicle information, the time, date, and all the stuff that we pulled you over for in the first place. We keep a scrapbook on you. And then when we have some downtime and the business is open, we call your insurance broker and say, yo, does Buddy have insurance? And did he have insurance on this day at this time? And when they say no, we say thank you. Because then we go down and we write up all our paperwork for a form or a part 3 of 104. And then we serve you, or have one of our colleagues serve you and charge you for that wonderful fine of drive no insurance. And then you get to go to court. And you know who wants to come testify more than anybody else? Your insurance company. Yeah, they record everything. So there's absolutely a record of you starting your policy and ending your policy. It's amazing. Truly. Okay. I'm moving on. Oh, Chase found it. Of course, Chase found it. Chase finds stuff. In Canada, fines for operating motor vehicle without ignition interlock system or tampering with it ranges from $200 to $20,000 for commercial vehicles, $200 to $1,000 for other. But why can't I find it in the system that I like to use? Motor vehicles, these penalties are outlined under the Highway Traffic Act. Additionally, fines for impaired drive. But I'm looking there. Anyway, I thank you for putting that there. Liz has a question, says, speaking of an obstructed view, what's your thought on people with tons of stuff on their dash? Makes me feel claustrophobic just to see other people's messy dash, but can drivers get ticketed? Yeah. If it's obscuring or obstructing their ability to see out, tinted windshield. You can do it for there's a charge for obscuring the interior, that's from the outside looking in, and obstructing the driver's view on the way out. And that's for the windows left and right of the driver and the front. But I'll tell you something, when you talk about dirty cars or cars packed with stuff. I've pulled people over who have like they pick up cans or they go to the flea market and they just have stuff filled to the brim. It's like a pile of garbage just stuffed in a vehicle. Well, what happens when you slam on the brakes with that is everything rushes forward. And if it's not, if it will interfere with the driver, if that were to happen, I would charge them for insecure load. Jeff says it's under mandatory prohibition order, but the question is, and I thank you, Jeff. I could swear there was a charge under the HTA, unless I found it through the system, and I've never looked at it except for those times. Like I was convinced I gave a ticket for it, but maybe I did something else. It's a long, rough read. Thank you. Da, 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 da. Oh, a couple of Liz's church members did the retesting at 80. Well, I have a couple of family members who might be needing that soon. Okay. We talked about the insurance and back to the insurance. Tons and tons and tons of cars on the road are driving with no insurance. It's gross. It's gross because they don't give a crap about anybody but themselves. And they usually get away with a $65 ticket unless they find a real traffic man or woman or person or yeah. Okay, we talked about that. Okay, we talked about that. Degrees of freedom. How come Mercedes-Benz gets away with tinted on the front windshield? Rich people can have tint. That's degrees of freedom, who is upset that there is a tint or tinge to the front window. I will tell you this. If it is baked into the glass, it is not a film. And if it's not a film, it doesn't violate the rule about putting tint film on the windshield. So they usually have multi-pane glass. Oh, I don't like it. It pisses me off, quite frankly, that these multicolored and they look all green, shimmery windshields are on the road. And the best I can come up with right now is that they're not aftermarket. That's coming baked into the glass. If it is being applied, it's against law. Oh, Maverick, we're laughing about the 10 times around. Fred Zeppelin wants to know if I joined ZZ Top. No, but I basically haven't shaved since I left the job, so 275 days. And I did start the beard with a base. I've had a beard for years, or a goatee at very least. And when I left the job 275 days ago today, not that I'm counting, yeah, I haven't shaved. I have had a minor trim. I had a gentleman in Barrie, Ontario, who is a master barber he's got the shears and stuff and trimmers and he went and like turned this into a wedge of sorts. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. And to be quite honest, I think what I'm going to do is continue to grow it. It's sort of like a game day beard. And I'm losing weight. I'm down over 20 pounds now. And when I hit my goal weight, I might shave it off. I'm not entirely sure yet. Now that there's a hat with a beard on it, I kind of have to keep the logo going. It's like my thing. I was talking to the chief of police, and I'm saying like I can never shave again because of the hat and the merch. Well, I don't really sell merch, but I wear my own stuff. I have to recreate a new logo. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. We had a laugh about that. It was good. Max 7 wants to know if he can tint his windshield. No. High all week is talking trash. I don't know what he's saying though. Skins BPR is talking to Paul. What is this? Hang on, I'm going back. Joseph, thank you for sharing the live. High all week shared the live. Thank you again. What are we talking about here? Oh, okay. Here we go. We caught up to where the questions were. Stranger MTO says you can turn left on a red. Can you explain it? Have you got a page? Because I got the book here. I'm reading that book actually. I'm actually reading it aloud on my YouTube channel. Although I'm behind schedule. Let's look at left turns in the HDA or in the book. I'm in the index. I'm curious what the handbook says now that you said it. Left turns, page 185. Oh my, I'm excited. Are you excited? 185. Why is there a snowmobile? Why is there a snowmobile? Oh, because I'm in the wrong section. Or it's just wrong. Oh, it's left turns of snowmobiles. Why is there a. Anyway, that seems silly. Let's try this again. Index. Back to L. Oh, off-road. I'm in the off-road vehicle section. There's two indexes. Made no sense. I was like freaky. I didn't even know. I know. Left turns. Here we go. Oh my God, there's so many pages. 54 to 57, 117 to 118, 147, 152. There's a lot here. Let's go to 52. Well, I guarantee you that left turns on reds is not covered on page 52 because I read this recently. Let's go to the next section. 117 to 118. Ah, red light. A fully protected left turn. Some intersections have separate traffic lights for left turn traffic and for traffic going through the intersection or turning right. When a left turn green arrow appears for traffic, okay, you got to tell me what are you talking about? Because it doesn't say that there. But if it's there, I want to know. 147. Left turn, left turn, left turn. Where is it? Ah, when making a left turn check. No, that's not it. 152 to 154. Left and right turns. The approach, the traffic check, speed. I don't see it, my friend. If you're stopped waiting for a green light or for the way to be clear, keep checking traffic, blah, 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 blah. I need to know where. I don't see it. Except unless it's talking about the left turn on a red light in the event that it's a one-way street to another one-way street. Fred Zeppelin, do you have a free guitar? I have a couple of guitars. I don't know how to play them. I bought them on a whim. I gave them to my kids. Let's see here. Boom. Parker Meyer, thank you for the follow. Screaming Eagle, excellent motorcycle name. I think I see a motorcycle in your itty bitty. All the icons are this big on the screen over there. Why don't the OPP do more to enforce the HOV lanes? I imagine it's because they don't have enough people to do everything that they need to do. Yeah. User who has something orange in their picture and a dot as a name says, "Cop gave me a ticket because my exhaust is loud. It's stock." So here's the deal. You can get a ticket for making unnecessary noise. Doesn't have to be modified to do that. It could be your driving behavior, revving the engine. If you are believed to have an aftermarket one because it's creating such obnoxious noise, then they could tell, or if it's defective, stock or not. You'd have to justify it in court. So if it's stock and if it meets the requirements under law, then it looks like you'll be getting off your ticket. Oh, I see. Paul said 51st state, to which others said, y'all couldn't handle us. And now I understand what the comment was. Okay. Canna2 Gold says, saw a guy in the DVP holding and eating food from a box and steering with his knees against the HTA. Yeah, that's going to be careless driving. Richard thinks that the parole would be revoked if they were driving in violation of a interesting. Because you're actually in violation of a court order, right? Like you're disqualified from driving. Wouldn't you be? Disqualified because you're disqualified unless you're in compliance with the interlock. Interesting. Jimmy wants to know if cops can get tickets or get pulled over by other cops. Absolutely. In fact, I know stories where the OPP has impounded police cars because they were stunt driving. Interesting stuff. Fire engines too. I heard about a fire engine going up Berry Way, or at least north of the city. I don't know how far. And they did a fire engine with stunt driving. I've heard of high-ranking police officers being done with stunt driving. I've heard it all. Tim Clark wants to know when people or if I guess people are ever going to learn how to use a roundabout properly. I think it's a crapshoot every single time. I honestly have no faith in humanity after watching roundabouts. I think I should just start filming them because they're really, really bad. And hell all week, I do appreciate those shares. I don't know why Beard Boy is what you're calling me. I'm way too old to be Beard Boy. You know, if I was like 15 growing a beard, well, I guess 15 when I grew a beard. Nika wants to be arrested. I'm no longer a police officer. Richard Bowers says 200 to 1,000 fine. ChatGPT says for interlock device. The problem and what I was looking for is a very clean response from the app I like that has all the charges, and it's not showing up at all. So I question whether or not it's being moved. And they do this once in a while when they move certain charges, like the Environmental Protection Act. The charges that were under that act have been absorbed by the Highway Traffic Act. They're no longer in the previous place. They were revoked. Why? Don't know. Somebody thought it was a good idea. DK says, I'm trying to become a police officer. What would differ my application from others other than volume or volunteer? Okay. Listen, here's the thing. Continuously improve yourself. It's not just volunteering. Learn a language. Dedicate yourself to fitness and making yourself look good by being good. Stay out of trouble. Learn stuff. Learn about the police service you want to apply for. These are all good things. Develop relationships. Volunteer as an adult or an auxiliary officer prior to applying. You have to give some time if you're doing that. Don't just do it to get an application in. But having real knowledge of a police service is important. Not just showing up saying, I'm here, give me a job. No, you want to learn how many dogs they have at the canine unit. Even if you don't want to be a canine officer, how many horses do they have? What's the history of the Toronto Police Service? Learn about the service. Most of the information you would want is available on the Toronto Police website and things like Wikipedia. Just learn stuff. It's good. Makes you look good. Kalon Harding says, Kalon, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm guessing here. How long have you been retired for, and would you go back if you could? Very interesting question. 275 days since I had my last day. Miss it terribly. Consider going back all the time. I could go back. I've had conversations about it, but the reasons I left were to be here for family. My family's going through some stuff. I need to be here to help out, and for that reason, I wouldn't be here for my family if I left to go back to work. Just being on the road every day, it's like 3 hours of driving, round trip, because of traffic, not because it's distance. I'm close to the city. I'm just on the border, and it took me like a half an hour to get to work in the morning. It took me like 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours to get home because of traffic. Ridiculous. It's that kind of stuff, and what I'm doing right now is so important for my family. But I miss it so much. I had a great conversation with a couple of my friends from work today. And I miss them. They miss me. It's this thing. I'm still contributing. In fact, I'm doing the same thing I was doing as a police officer in media relations. I was talking to y'all. Probably didn't call people douchebags when I was working. Pretty much guarantee that. So I've kind of flexed the freedom a little bit. And I don't shave anymore. Yeah. Otherwise, there's not much going on different. Except they don't pay me anymore. Do police on the 400 series highways have a no chase policy? I don't know. I don't know if they have a policy per se. I think that they have a don't want to kill anybody, do a lot of paperwork situation. If they had a good reason to chase you, they would. If you were a murder suspect or you had a prisoner or a person that is at risk, you took a kid, they're chasing you, whether there's a policy or not, because they're not going to let you go. Now, there's other ways to deal with you. They don't have to chase. Call the friends with the helicopters. Call the friends in every intersection exit. There's nothing faster than a radio. So while people think there's no chase, it's called chestnut checkers. So there's ways of dealing with it. Richard says, asked my dad to draw a clock and vision test. That's what they did for the test? What? I'm not sure what that is. Oh, okay. Kev Clausen says, if you do a driver's medical and the licensing office loses it, do you get reimbursed? Oh, you did it because you have your commercial driver's license and they lost it. There should be a record of it. But yeah, I would have a problem with that. Get receipts for everything. Take pictures of everything. Scan everything. Boom. What is this? I lost it. It just updated and scrolled away. Bergamutka sent a donut. Thank you very much. Can you see if someone has insurance from your other place? You can see within 15 days if there was a confirmed or unconfirmed status. It's not enough. And yeah, it was very much a hint, a clue, but not a definitive answer. Liz says, before retiring from TPS, my boyfriend was worried about being stopped for speeding by OPP or other police departments, like parking tickets. He said it would reflect poorly on him and his professionalism. So why was he worried about it though? Like, I don't speed, so I don't worry. And I don't park. Well, I didn't think I parked illegally until I got a $50 ticket. I was so paranoid about parking illegally that I called this person named Aaron, who's a parking guru. And I said, am I allowed to park here? And they said, yes. And then I got a ticket because apparently I didn't disclose the fact that I was within 9 meters of an intersection and I had no idea. I didn't know stuff, so I got ticketed for stuff. And I paid for that ticket because I was wrong. User 5819 _. I allegedly ran from the York Regional Police and they keep coming to my house, even though it's not me. What do? You get a lawyer and you address it and you deal with it, but not coming to the door is not the way to do it. Hope has a question. What is your question, Hope? Ethan says, you're up late. I am. Maverick says, in Michigan, they have dedicated left turn lanes. You can turn on red when it's clear. Really? That seems so wrong. Motorcycle Experience says, good evening, Sean. How you doing? Motorcycle Experience. Tay says, you arrested me in Jane and Finch. Not cool, man. How old are you? The reason being is if I arrested you at Jane and Finch, which is entirely possible, unlikely, but possible, you would be much older because I have not been on the road for a number of years. So how old are you? Because maybe you were 6 at the time. I don't know. How old are you? Or are you? Or how old were you when you were arrested by me? That's a better question. I'm sure you're pulling my leg. Okay. Ethan says, how do you like those new bridges at the city waterfront? I don't know, I haven't been downtown in ages. Gen Xer 73 says, I drive a go bus. The amount of single occupants in the HOV lane is disgusting. I agree with you. There are a lot of violators there, and we could have a heyday hammering those. And says, nice beard, by the way. Thank you. Actually, somebody in the beard business reached out to me and said, I want to send you a care kit for your beard, and because they're in the beard business. So I'm expecting a delivery soon. And when I get it, I will open it up and share with everybody what I got because that looks cool. I'm looking forward to finding out what's in the box. I'm not sure what Swerve is saying because it's in like Toronto talk. I don't know what that is. Kodiak says, since Regina, Saskatchewan, what? Kodiak says, since Regina, Saskatchewan got their spy plane, my dad says it's made it so much easier and safer now. Oh my goodness. If we're talking about for traffic enforcement, they have a plane for that reason? Interesting. Oh, Liz says, my boyfriend didn't speed. I just want people to know, like everyone else, officers are also at risk of being ticketed if they're doing something wrong. 100%. And we don't want to bring the service, our uniform, our word into, ill repute. We don't want to make anyone look bad. And when we do stuff, it represents our service. And the average cop cares. Okay, got a couple of dad jokes from Michael. How you doing, Michael? Long time no see. Motorcycle Experience says, too bad you're doing the live stream now and not at Lakeshore and Boulevard in Kipling. There are several motorcycle riding on Lakeshore breaking the law with speeding and running through the red lights. Oh, tape it and send it to me. I guess not tape it, record it with your non-tape based recording device. I can't get used to the fact that I use tape as like I record things on tape. I also, sculpt with a hammer and chisel. Yeah. But I am going to be out on the road doing a lot more content. I've been out the last couple of days having some fun, testing out some stuff. Melody's 12 minutes from work. I can't imagine. Carly wants to know if you can have proof of insurance on your phone. No, you have to have your actuals. Actually, wait, no, I take that back. The law changed. I was thinking about driver's license. You can have electronic insurance. However, it's not a photo of the slip. It's from an approved app that is provided, a secure app provided by your insurance provider. I don't know how I started answering that incorrectly. Okay. TKO says, because I don't know how to pronounce this. Or is it Zlatko? Zlatko. Hey, Sean, question about motorcycle plates. Are they acceptable when tucked and displayed flat on the back of the bike? No, they have to be horizontal, like oriented horizontally, not rotated, and they have to be, perpendicular to the road. Yeah, you can't have them flat, and they drive me crazy when they are. It's gross. And I think we should have expanded powers. I think police officers should be able to yank those if they see them. We also needed a remote kill switch because people on bikes are doing some stupid stuff and putting lives at risk. Okay. I'm going to wrap it up. An hour and a half. I wasn't planning on being on this long, but such great questions. I appreciate everybody who's jumped in to ask the questions. If you're watching on TikTok, please follow. I'm going to go live again 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll continue where we left off. But if you want to know stuff before you do stuff, this is the right channel. I'm on summer hours, so I'm only going live Tuesday nights and Wednesday mornings, but I am here for you. If you got questions, you can always go to askatrafficop.ca. The website has a voicemail function where you can ask me questions. And actually, I've got some voicemails to answer on tomorrow's live. After Dark's a little different, and I wasn't home to do the prep work to post them, but the day show is a lot easier. Oh, actually, tomorrow in the morning, I'm going to be on location. I'm going to do something a little different. So I'll definitely be on TikTok. Hopefully, I'll also be on YouTube. We're going to try doing this from the road. I'll be in the car, parked, mind you. I'll go to a mall or something. I have to be on the road for an appointment in the morning, so I won't be at the home studio or the office studio, but I will be here for you. Okay. Dan Sanders 752 says, regards to your video about funny intersections, come check out Welcome in Port Hope. Oh, sorry, come check out Welcome Port Hope. Is that an intersection? I've got to check it out. Send me something on that. I'm going to be traveling all. There's so many invitations to come check stuff out. I've had coppers from across Ontario reach out saying, you got to come for a ride along at this intersection, at that intersection. I'm all over it. I'll bring the drone. We'll have some fun. Bring multiple drones. Ahmed Khan says, hey, I'm an auxiliary officer, 20 years old. What tips do you give to me to become a cadet sworn cop? First of all, I was an auxiliary for 12 years. Fantastic way to volunteer and contribute to your community. I commend you for doing it. Don't screw up, because if you make a name as an auxiliary, you ain't never getting into the next level. You can be eager, say yes to everything. Don't do anything you're not supposed to do. Don't break any rules internally or externally, because you're under a microscope. Being an auxiliary can give you a leg up, but it can also screw you up if you don't do the right thing. Feel free to reach out to me by DM and ask me questions. I'm happy to chat with you. Slightly angled down. Yeah, so your plate has to be like a right angle to the road, 90 degrees. It has to be properly visible, and it has to be lit. One of the biggest things that the motorcycle guys are doing is flipping them in. They're not lit. They're not visible, but they need to expand the laws. Oh, the town is called Welcome. Thank you. Okay. Some dude in Canada says, you're using slang and numbers. No one knows what you're talking about. Oh, I got it. Josh is saying to some dude in Canada. Gotcha. Thank you. The slang don't fly here. Zlatko says, I was told by a Toronto officer that as long as you can see it a car length behind, it's acceptable. Not exactly. There's actually the regulation actually specifies how the plate must be displayed, and it may pass for most officers, but if the officer knows the regulations, it won't. So it should be absolutely legible and lit for night use. Oh, was some dude in Canada just using HTA? Because HTA I get, but there was somebody using other stuff. Okay. What was the slang? Now I'm not even sure which conversation. I thought I was talking about the Toronto slang guy. Oh, oh, because some dude in Canada wants to know about non-standard crosswalks, specifically rainbow. Uh, they violate the HTA because. So you're saying that the painting them rainbow is not regulation, thus because they've changed the color. So you think they would be non-enforceable at that point? Interesting, maybe. Yeah, I totally missed your question. So are they actually painting them? Like I've seen them in the States where people are driving truck and like doing burnouts and getting arrested for violating them. I think they're considering it a hate crime. Um, but the ones that like I know that they're in the village, and other than the fact that it would possibly reduce the charges that could be levied against the driver, they wouldn't be illegal per se. They're there to identify intersections, but possibly a defense for a driver who violated one of them. Say it wasn't a marked crosswalk because it wasn't painted in accordance with the regulation. That's possible. Interesting. Yeah. No, I'm picking up what you're putting down now. Some dude in Canada. I think we're on the same page. Because they are, but it doesn't make them illegal. It makes them non-enforceable potentially because they don't meet the requirements to be identified as what they're supposed to be, and unless they've done something to, because you've, I don't know. It's very interesting. Maverick, you're very welcome. Ahmed says, I'm in college right now. Grad is March 2026. Would you recommend me applying as a cadet or sworn? Dude, just go for sworn. If you can't get in as a sworn officer and they have a cadet program, they'll take you as a cadet. Right? It's you're young at 20 years old. That is true. But 20 to 24, they'll hire you now. If you're a good candidate. If they say, oh, wait, you're 90% of the way there. We think you're going to make a great officer, but you need a year or two of under your belt before we'll let you go. Then they might invite you to their program, or they might say, apply for parking, apply for courts, apply for something else, and then come back to us once you're not so green. But I know somebody 24 who got it. I've heard of people 21 getting it. You're not that far off. I would try. I would not put yourself in the minor league without at least taking a kick at the can. Let's see here. Oh, Motorcycle Experience says I should become a Harley Davidson spokesperson. So I come with a Harley Davidson. My wife was a little apprehensive of the idea of me getting back on a motorcycle since my crash in 2018, and for that reason, I've basically not moved the motorcycle that's in my garage, which is a Honda, by the way. And I do want to get a Harley, and we had a discussion as I was gifted by a friend of mine some Harley Davidson raffle tickets. I did not win the Harley. Has the draw? Yeah, the draw has taken place. It was in September, and September. Wait, when did he give me the tickets? When was the draw? Anyway, he bought me some tickets. I don't think I won. Very disappointed. But I said, but I had to have the conversation. Well, what if we won? Could I ride it? And she said yes. So apparently, if I become a Harley Davidson spokesperson, I could actually have a motorcycle. I just realized that my chair, the gas shock on the chair, I was like higher by an inch like an hour ago. The gas shock is going down. There's a leak. Okay. What was the favorite police vehicle that I drove? 100% the Harley Davidson. It's true. That's what a cruiser is, by the way. Toronto Police A cruiser a scout car is the car. A cruiser is the Harley. Now BMW. I don't not a BMW person. Okay. What do you think about catch and release? I think it's bull crap. That's what I think. Shahir likes the hat. Thanks very much. I made it myself. I did. I laser engraved the patch. I applied the patch. LSDM me. Maybe I've got to put together something for modding, but I can't actually add mods or do anything because I'm not logged into that interface. But DM me. I've got to put together an army of mods. Okay, some dude in Canada says mandates white zebra stripes, requires clear school crossing markings. I'd have to look at it. But it's not that you can't have. I don't. I don't think it would be enforceable. Like, who's going to enforce it? The city on the city? It may not meet the requirements, thus it would not be considered a crosswalk. And I'm extrapolating from the conversation. I'm not talking about like there could be something on paper that supersedes or temporarily amends it, or maybe they're all in violation. And we should go after them. Zach, if someone were to get a license in a different state or province as a person under 16, can they drive? Not in Ontario. So you can go at 14 years old in Alberta, get a learner's permit. If you come to Ontario, you cannot drive. Even if you have a full license at 14, you cannot drive unless you're 16. Josh says, I thought you say, what is this? I thought, no, Police Interceptor, Utility, Ford Explorer, not my favorite. Harley Davidson, absolutely my favorite. Expedition and Suburban's second favorite to the Harley. F-150 was amazing to drive temporarily when I had access to it. But the OTM book isn't it isn't law so much as it's a guidebook. Am I not? I'm pretty sure on the traffic management book. We're talking about the orange book. Am I talking about the orange book? Hang on a second. Ontario traffic manuals. Is that what we're talking about from the OTC? Ontario OTM book 7. Yeah, this is not. I hear what you're saying. They can prohibit all they want. It's. I don't think that it's as enforceable as I might be wrong. That MTO catalog of those books that stuff are generally looked at by people doing temporary traffic management for special events, construction, things like that. At least book 7. You're saying book 11. Let's have a look at book 11. Ontario Traffic Manual, book 11. I just downloaded it. I'll look it up, but it's not a conversation for now because I'm growing more tired. It's early mornings, late nights. Road testing and right on. LS. Yes, impounding the car would be great. Some dude in Canada sent it. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Okay. I'm going to go. Actually, wait, let's see. Epic Life says they have a question. Oh, we got a joke from Epic Life Enthusiast. I don't know what okay. Auto Assist app, which I have my driver's license insurance. Oh, is it? So Auto Assist app. In Ontario, they wouldn't accept your driver's license scanned into it. It's a great assistance in case they need to look at something that they don't have, and as a guidance, but it doesn't meet the requirements of law. So you'd still get a ticket potentially. And the image of your insurance isn't acceptable unless it's through a secure app provided by the insurance company. but it's good if you lost something. Okay, I'll check the app out. That's funny. Okay, we'll go to dad jokes in a second. Michael wants to know if my wife said it's okay to ride a Harley because it's big and slow, almost like a car, not a crotch rocket. Um, if he won the bike, he would sell it if he won. He prefers Japanese bikes, Suzuki's and Yamahas, especially no U.S. after comments from a certain president. Interesting. I wouldn't punish anyone because of the comments of anyone personally. Harley's a Harley. The president making comments doesn't change it from being a Harley. Wouldn't make me buy Japanese. I have always had Japanese motorcycles. I like Japanese motorcycles, but they're not Harleys. Okay. What is this? Oh, what? Oh, so Liz says, but isn't it still damaging and potentially dangerous to our roads for drivers to do burnouts on our non-standard rainbow crosswalks? Yeah, it's gross. They shouldn't be doing it and damaging the roads, and it's against the law. It's stunt driving, so they should lose their cars and lose their licenses and be charged for whatever. So Shahir says, I have a hilarious riddle once you answer my question. What's the question? Can someone drive with international driver's license, and if so, for how long? Specifically from India. If you're visiting in the country, you can drive while you're a visitor status, not a resident, not a student, not a like. As soon as you become a resident of Ontario, you have 60 days to apply for a license, 30 days to transfer a motor vehicle. Now, from India, that doesn't change. And as soon as you are required to have that license, your international license or foreign license is not valid. If you are visiting, it's a longer period of time, but you need to articulate that you're visiting, and the person who you're articulating it to has to believe you. If there's anything to suggest that you're a resident, you will be charged, and you'll not be licensed, which means you're not insured, which is a really big problem for you. The moment you apply for a G1, your foreign license is not acceptable because now you have a priority license in the province, even if it's a learner's permit. Okay. It's Danny. You're very welcome. He said, thanks for the service, my service. Liz was at a Harley Davidson Barrie this past Saturday for some sort of motorcycle event. Then on Sunday, I was at a different motorcycle thing in Orangeville. It was a bit cold. Yeah, I can't imagine. It's been really up and down weather. It's either too cold or too hot. And Jay says, whether it's a rainbow colored crosswalk or a basic white one, it's illegal. To do burnouts, 100%. Yeah, driving like a jackass on the road is illegal, and really we need to do more about taking people off the road. Like VTFU says, did you record any worse intersections in GTA? I haven't done full scale recording of anything. I've done some sample stuff trying to figure out angles and things, so I'm working on it. I'm going to be going out to intersections across the GTA to record and make people famous. What is this? I find so many people still ride their bikes on sidewalks. Do you think that bicycles? Zach wants to know. In Toronto, it's illegal. It's not illegal everywhere, though. Oh, Shahir wants to know, how would a traffic cop determine if I'm a resident? Well, first off, talking to you. Secondly, have you been ticketed or stopped for anything else? Because if you're over a period of time, there would be a timestamp as to the last time you were here. Oddly enough, we have the ability to investigate things. So they would. And if they did not believe you or could find any reason to charge you, they would. And quite frankly, if you are legitimately not legal in terms of your driving, you could run into some serious problems. Like first of all, if you own a car, what are you driving? Are you renting a car? How long has the contract been in your name? These are all things we're going to look at. Like, train investigators. They're going to figure things out, or at least have a very high likelihood that they will. Oh, Jacob says, thanks for my service. And he says, for handing out tickets. I didn't just hand out tickets when I was a cop, but appreciate Jacob assuming so. you know, police officers who specialize in traffic are still police officers, right? They don't arrest people too. Too funny. Okay. Okay. It's Danny says, I came off night shift and my eyes were red, got stopped, and a cop thought I was impaired. Thoughts. This is why we do breath exams, like breath samples to determine blood alcohol content. Uh, you, I've had people stopped who were asleep at intersections that weren't impaired; they were just tired. I mean, technically, I think that would be good for a charge. If you're so tired that you can't operate a vehicle safely, you probably shouldn't be driving. Okay. Shahir wants to know if I can describe the funniest traffic stop you've ever had during your career. Maybe another time. It's almost 2 hours that I've been going live, which means it's almost midnight, and I'm doing this again at 10 a.m., which means I'm getting up at 6 a.m. Holy moly, it's Mr. Steak. Hey, buddy, sorry I missed you, he says, and sent a gift. Thank you very much. I've been trying to get out to London to come visit you again. Mr. Steak runs a chop steak house, and I had the most amazing tomahawk steak when I was there last visiting with friends from the OPP. And yeah, I got to come out and visit again. Mr. Steak and I go way back. Okay. Oh, Epic Life Enthusiast says, follow up to my previous question. I traveled back to Italy for 6 months and come back to Canada for 6 months. What was the last question? Oh, I have two type of driver's license, one in Canada, one in Italy with international license. If I lose my Ontario license, would I get in trouble by police for using my Italian driver's license? And the answer is yes. First of all, you can't, in Ontario, you can't carry two licenses. So if you have a license in another place, but you're an Ontario licensed driver, that's the one that takes priority. So I pull people over who give me all sorts of licenses, but when I run their name, it comes up on Ontario. That's the license we go by. And that's your thing. You're very welcome, some dude in Canada. Take care. And no rush. I'll be there right on. Okay, I'm out of here. Listen, you be wonderful. You be magical. Drive safe, drive sober. And dad jokes. I'm saying goodbye, and I didn't do the dad jokes. Okay, dad joke. I started jogging today. I didn't want to, but the ice cream truck didn't stop. Okay, that's serious. that's serious. I like that. Why did the thief wear blue gloves? He didn't want to be caught red-handed. And what do you call a female police officer playing guitar? Sheriff. I forgot to press it on button on the screen. All right. It's late. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. from the road. And maybe I'll have some interesting footage. And maybe it'll be a technical nightmare because I'm going to be doing it wirelessly. Like on the telephone that is a cell phone. It's going to be interesting. Have a good night, everyone. See you soon.